What's up guys? Welcome back to Golf Simulator videos. We are here with an incredible video for you today. We are not in the normal GSV studio. We're back in the GSV garage with an entire new home golf simulator build. I'm going to show you guys the Carl's golf enclosure. All right, I can't tell you how many people have asked about the Carl's DIY setup, and that's what we're here to do a full review and talk about today. Now you're going to want to stay tuned for this whole video because not am I only going to just show you and talk about this Carl's enclosure, I'm going to give you a full time lapse of how I built it all by myself. We're going to take shots using Mevo Plus and GS Pro. We're going to show you guys the GCQUAD along with FSX Play, talk about, the screen quality and the image quality that you get from it, go over all kinds of different things. We'll even talk about the components that I used to put this together. So I want to make sure you guys stay tuned for all of that. And I also want you to comment below any questions that you have. And if you're looking to purchase the Carl's golf enclosure, all right, or any golf simulator hardware or software, I want to make sure you shoot me an email, or you can use the links in the description and pin to the top of the comments. It helps support the channel, and I greatly appreciate that. So make sure you guys check those out. But let's go ahead and dive right in and talk about this. So what is unique about this enclosure, and this is another thing I'm going to want you to stay tuned for, is I'm even going to show you a 4K movie clip. And the reason I'm going to do that is this is actually a 16:9 format. So a lot of golf simulator enclosures are 4:3 or 16:10. And don't get me wrong, I love 16:10. That's the GSV Studio format. But what's nice about 16:9, if you have the room, is that it's actually the native format to your normal widescreen TV or movies. So at a flip of a switch, you can fill up this whole screen and turn it into a home theater. So whether it's in your garage or living room, whatever you're doing, you can have a couch behind, a bar behind, put on the sports, you can stream things, whatever you want to do. And I'm going to give you a quick sample of that here in just a few minutes. So let's just go ahead and first talk about what I have going on here. I'm even going to grab my phone and do a little walk around and talk about the components, and then we'll go to that time lapse to show you how I built this all by myself. So first thing first, I bought the premium screen. So they have a few different levels of screens. I wanted to show off the best. This is the premium. Let me tell you, it's quiet. Image quality is great. I suggest going premium if you can budget for that. I also did the Carl's EMT poles that can come with it. I found that the price that they have them for, really based on how much time you'd have to spend cutting your own EMT and everything and the way that these assemble. I'll even show you a little picture here of the corner pieces. You can see the bolts. All of these pieces slide together to where they stop and you bolt them down. It just makes the assembly really easy, and you know that it's all there, cut in the proper sizes, okay? And then I also did the foam inserts that go behind these little flaps that I'll show you in a second. I found that those were reasonably priced. It's a very high quality memory foam, and they're cut to a precision size that fit right in the corner. That is for a stray ball, just in case someone's down here, whether it be one of the kids or an amateur golfer that sends one off to the side. It's not going to hit that EMT pole and risk ricocheting back. Okay. Now, as far as the components down here, I'll actually grab my phone so we can do some up close looks at everything. First thing first, let's just go ahead and talk about what I have going on down here. So this is a simple setup. This is a stance mat, and then also a commercial grade hitting mat. This is softer, as you can see. That comes from the same supplier that gets the soft strike that I've showed you guys that so many people love. All right, so if you're interested in that, you can shoot me an email. And then up here, this is actually my friends at Sin Lawn of Michigan actually supplied this precision putt, okay? Really nice putting turf. It actually isn't perfectly level. If you were going to be putting on with a radar, I would probably suggest that you would make that perfectly level. Just one layer of carpet padding would probably do it. So just know that if you're putting with radar, you should do that. But let's go ahead and show you real quick. This is what I really liked. If you like Velcro, you're going to like Carl's golf enclosures. They have a lot of Velcro, and it's really your friend. If you take your time, I kind of rushed through this a little bit. I could have done a little better job. You can see actually a bolt up here. We get that's how those bolt together, the EMT pieces. And then here's all Velcro here. These flaps come from the screen right here in Velcro. The padding's behind that. And let's show you this picture really quick. That is a crisp, picture, and I'll get really close to the screen so you can kind of see the quality of the screen. It's quiet. When I hit some shots here in a little bit, you'll see how quiet it is. I actually have several of the bungees off of the bottom, actually the majority of them. I only have a few of them on the bottom because I want to break in the screen a little bit and test the tension. They definitely recommend that, and I recommend you doing the same. Let's show you what I'm using for a projector to get that quality. This is the BenQ LK953. So that's a 4K projector, laser lit. All right, and it's a native 16:9, so perfect for this setup. Now, look how temporary this is. And I only would suggest you do this if you check the specifications of your garage system. So my garage door system, I checked the rails. They were plenty sufficient to hold this 2x6 along with this projector. And that's just a very temporary setup that I have going on because it was just so easy to do. So if you're looking for temporary and you verify your specifications for weight and safety, you could just simply run a 2x6 across like I did and then just have a little drop down projector mount. That's like a 24-inch mount. So it's that simple. Obviously very temporary over here. I'm running a pretty high-end laptop, not gonna lie. So this Razer 4K touchscreen laptop has an RTX 3080 in it. It actually can run a 4K duplicated screen. All right, and that's very important. So let's real quick walk around the back here because what I want to show you back here is how this assembles with these bungees. And I can actually grab one because I have extras. So these little bungee, ball bungees make it very, very simple to not only attach, and excuse me how it's a little dark in here, but the side piece, okay, that goes over the enclosure is actually all one piece. So the side, the top, and the other side is all one piece. You'll see that in the time lapse I'll show you in a second. And so that's easy to throw up and over with bungees, and then your screen does the same thing. Okay, and I did run these ball bungees all on the top and all on the sides, and then I just only put a few on the bottom. So let's go back over to our other camera. And now that I've shown you all of that, I think that we can go ahead and show you guys the time lapse. So this time lapse, as far as assembly time goes, everything was very quality packaged. You know, everything was organized. So I was very, made it very simple just to grab the boxes, lay out all my pieces and do it. So let's go ahead and take a look at that time lapse and we'll talk about how I was able to put this together all by myself. All right guys, so first thing first, I laid my carpet down. I laid out all the poles and pieces and got them organized, and I started to assemble them. Like I said, they snap together and you tighten them with the bolts. It's really simple, and you can see how I did it, just one person. And I laid out that enclosure tarp, if you want to call it that, and then it just kind of tightens with the Velcro. Then you go around with those ball bungees and tighten that up. Grab your screen, do the same thing with the ball bungees, tighten that all up. You come in the inside, pack that foam inside those little flaps, Velcro those straps in. It has a weight on the bottom that you can put together. I grabbed my enclosure mount and I got that all assembled, got that hung up on that 2x6 I showed you, ran some HDMI cable, got that turned on and started to adjust the projector to fit the screen all the way, made some adjustments with focus and everything. And then after that, took a quick test shot and I was ready to go. All right guys, welcome back. I really hope you enjoyed that time lapse of the Carl's Golf Simulator Enclosure Assembly DIY. That was true DIY, all by myself, took just over an hour. Yes, I've put together Golf Simulator enclosures before, but never a Carl's Golf Simulator enclosure. And it showed up very well packed, good documentation, organized. I think those poles, the pre-cut poles they provide, make it really easy. I mean, they're labeled and everything, so you can put them together. The bolts make it easy to tighten them, so just consider those things if you're wanting easy assembly. I really think that attributed to the time it took me to assemble it all. But now let's do some demonstrations. I have the Flightscope Mevo Plus 7 feet behind the ball, and then it's a little over 9 feet to the screen. A few things to pay attention to is that it's very quiet with this premium screen. I'm very impressed how quiet it is when the ball hits the screen. Some screens are very loud. This soft material that they're using not only provides that nice clear image, but that ball bounce back and how quiet the screen is, when the ball hits is impressive. And I don't have these, big wrinkles or anything in the screen for that tension, but yet it has the give and the play to have the ball bounce back, a reasonable amount. So let's go ahead and hit a couple shots with GS Pro. All right, this is 4K Golf Simulator software. I thought it'd be great to show off. A little 163-yard shot down there. See if I can get an 8-iron down there. Should be close. It was a decent strike. And I'm also going to take the GCQUAD with FSX Play. All right, threw one down there. Not a bad shot to start things off. Got to get a little warmed up after long days, you know, got to get the body moving. But that kind of shows you good movement. I mean, I'm running a laptop and yet I can run 4K at Ultra. That's their highest setting, you know, and if I do get any, you know, stuttering or anything like that, I could always lower it back down, but it seems to be running quite smooth. So let's hit one more for you guys. How quiet is that though? I mean, this is a 160-yard shot. You saw where the ball landed. Nice and quiet when it hits the screen. That's very impressive. And I'm in a very echoey garage. That should be real close. That was a good strike. And little long. Little long. Good, great numbers from the Mevo Plus though. So easy to set that up. I just extended it with you know, another golf mat there. Like I said, 7 feet behind the ball. And then a little over 9 feet to the screen. But look where those balls end up. Now I want to hit driver and show you guys what driver's like, all right? Because that's obviously very important. People want to know the bounce back, you know, from the screen tension. But like I said, you have this nice flat, clean screen and yet you've got good ball bounce back. So let's switch over to the GCQUAD and FSX Play and show you guys what driver is like with the Carl's Golf Simulator premium screen. All right guys, so here we are with the GCQUAD and FSX Play software. I do want to make sure you guys stay tuned because right after this, I'm going to show you that 4K movie clip and we're going to turn the lights down and everything for that. I think you'll be very impressed with how that looks because like I said, you got a 16:9 format. Perfect for movies. So stay tuned, we'll play that right after this. But first up, FSX Play, all new software by Foresight Sports. It's taken a lot of people's attention because it's just awesome. They've really stepped it up for graphics, so I wanted to show this. We've got our GCQUAD ready to go. And why don't we do a quick flyover? We'll do a little flyover just to kind of show you guys this par 5, you know, show you what the graphics look like. I'm running the graphics on the highest setting, and honestly, this laptop, the RTX 3080, is doing a pretty darn good job. You know, graphics look good, pretty darn smooth overall. You know, I'm impressed. It's keeping up all right. It's holding its own for sure. So, you know, if you're looking to do something like this in 4K, know that it's probably going to take something like that. That Razer, like I mentioned earlier, is a 3080, RTX 3080 graphics card. That's what's important. All right, let's see if we can get a drive down there. I peeled it a little bit to the left. Look where my ball ended up. I mean, that was a full-blown 162 mile an hour ball speed, carried at 293, and the ball ended up right there. I mean, like I said, guys, I think that's really just going to show you that the screen, the premium screen, is probably the way to go if you can budget for it. I mean, 162 mile an hour ball speed. Launch angle was 12.9, so even a little bit of a lower launch, not hitting, you know, high on the screen or anything. And man, I mean, that just really shows you that you got lower bounce back from driver. So I want to keep the video going. All right, showed you driver, showed you some iron shots. Let's go ahead and take a look at this 4K movie clip. All right, check this out.
Your instructor is one of the finest pilots this program has ever produced. His exploits are legendary. What he has to teach you may very well mean the difference between life and death.
All right, guys, I hope that you can appreciate, I understand, and that was on an iPhone too. the quality and look of 4K on that huge 16:9 screen. I mean, just so cool. I had to show that because it's such an opportunity, dual purpose. If you're going to buy a Carl's Golf Simulator Enclosure and it's going to be primarily for Golf Simulator use, I honestly recommend probably looking at the 16:10. It's very immersive. As long as you have that height, they have all kinds of various options. Like I mentioned before, I want you guys to use the link in the description or the link that's pinned to the top of the comments. It helps support the channel and I appreciate it. So many people asked to see the Carl's Golf Simulator Enclosure, especially the DIY, wanted a review of it and show how it got assembled and everything. And I thought it was cool. I actually did get nets for this. So you can have a net that comes off to the side and they include these little sandbags. Once I put it together, I really felt like the enclosure was so big it wasn't necessary, but I bought those little nets. I have them to use if necessary, or if you have a smaller enclosure, it might be something that you want to consider. So they have all kinds of different accessories you can check out as well. But I want to know what you guys think. Comment below. Let me know what you think of this whole setup that I built. I mean, it's amazing how you can put together a home golf simulator in the matter of, let's call it an hour and a half. I mean, I had this whole thing assembled. Don't get me wrong, I had all the pieces kind of properly planned, but that's how fast you could build a golf simulator. So like, let's say you're only setting this up in the wintertime. You could set this up in the wintertime in your garage, all right, have a home golf simulator set up right here. And then when summertime comes around, if you want to take it down, you can do that. It really is that easy to assemble it when you know what you're doing. I'm going to put those links and more information in the description, but I want you guys to be able to email me with questions. I have access to all kinds of home golf simulator hardware, software, projectors, screens, turf, you name it. I want to be able to help you guys out. So I was really happy to be able to put this video together for you guys because it was such a highly requested video. So I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Stay tuned because there'll be a lot more coming soon.